What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Sandra, and we're returning to Mirrors, 1986. Thank you again to Chafic. And the next track, make sure I have the phrasing right. Yes, it's Mirror of Love, so I suppose not a literal title track, but obviously the reference to a mirror means this would be, as I see it, as representative of the theme of the album as any other tune in the playlist. But yeah, the idea of maybe emotions, feelings, and perceptions going in both directions, heading toward the other person and coming back to you, and of course, the degree to which someone can mirror what someone else is feeling, saying, or thinking is a dynamic process that likely will peak at some times and ebb at other times, which will be obvious and tangible in some cases, and maybe elusive and difficult to achieve at other times. So yeah, I suppose I'm inclined to see it as being on the more positive end of that scale, the idea of two people who are just perfectly in sync and are mirroring each other's understandings, feelings, and moment-to-moment actions. So yes, let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Sandra. The track is Mirror of Love, and it's from her 1986 album Mirrors. like one measure early, I thought I was gonna fade. Yeah, I'm like thinking a lot about the lyrics. I do have quite a bit to say about the sonics and the male vocals again, which in this case were more targeted. It was just kind of the title phrase, I think the end of the chorus, but I do like the balance that that sonorous male vocal provided in connection with Sandra's vocals. But yeah, like I was thinking that, like, you know, don't leave the mirror of love, you know, it's like a specific frame. So if you go outside of a certain way of acting or thinking or feeling, then maybe, you know, that takes you out of the mirror of love, and that sort of back and forth give and take can't happen. But I feel like on some level it must be related to this connection that comes from, you know, sort of reflecting back and forth. But yeah, I didn't hear all the lines clearly, and I do wonder, you know, if it is actually this idea of, you know, sharing or like coming into symmetry with someone. So let me know if I'm not hearing that right. But either way, I very much enjoy the sonics, which have like 3 distinct parts, meaning there's like the verse arrangement, then there's that pre-chorus configuration, which might be my favorite sonic section of the track, and then the chorus, which is nice and rich and which features these kind of like xylophone or like chime type melodic rhythms. And I do enjoy the like rhythmic sequence, which itself has kind of like 3 different shapes. It's, you know, going along, and then there's that build up, and then there's the like the dead pause, the rest moment, and then a bit of a roll, like percussion, like drum machine, and then it goes back into the like steady rhythm. So there's like a real dynamic rhythm and drum scheme over the course of the track. So, you know, it's not just a steady 4 to the floor, or, you know, it's not just like one like snare build into the next measure. That there was some like staggering and shifting that was going on with the rhythm and drum machines. So I did enjoy that. But yeah, I've said this before, and especially in the chorus on this one, it feels like if you swapped out Sandra's voice for Madonna's, it sounds like a like a 84, 85, 86 Madonna tune, which I say with great praise because I love that early nostalgic Madonna material, and, you know, I've sort of reconnected with that more directly in the last couple years doing reactions, but that stuff does go back to my youth. So yeah, as I said, to me that's a great compliment, and it was mostly the chorus where I felt that. Again, like the verse and the pre-chorus sections had an 80s vibe, an 80s synth pop vibe, but it didn't give me that strong like, ooh, this sounds like a Madonna track from the mid 80s, but the chorus definitely did. So either way, I think Sandra sounds great on her vocals, and, you know, she just has a characteristic voice, which admittedly, you know, going into this deep dive, I had kind of heard of her, but I've gotten a better sense of, you know, what she sounds like and the way she can articulate vocally. So yeah, another cool tune in the album. I don't remember, as we get to the end of it here, yeah, there's one more track, Loreen. Just making sure I haven't already reacted to that. It sounds vaguely familiar, which is why I'm wondering, have I reacted to Loreen? Oh, see, that's going to make it difficult because I've reacted to Lorena McKennitt. I have. I knew I had. Yeah, I went through that in her singles collection. So I guess once again I raise the question, is the album version similar enough to the single version that there's not a notable difference, and, you know, it might not make sense to react to it a second time? If that's the case, I'll go back into the Sandra folder and I'll see whatever releases next. Thank you to Chafic. But if it is notably different, let me know, and I can certainly go through that. So let me know what you think of this one here, and I will see you next time. Peace.